Marie grew up in an abusive, alcoholic home. Her alcoholic mother would bring home men who physically abused Marie and her siblings. One of them sexually abused her and then beat her with a belt at her mother's instruction after being accused of lying about the abuse. At 5 years old, her mother abandoned her and Marie was sent to live with her grandmother. 10 years later, at the age of 15, Marie met a man and then at 18 married him. He seemed sweet and considerate, and she longed for the normalcy that she never got as a child. After being married for a couple years, they had a baby girl, but soon her marriage and husband began to change when she became pregnant with their second child. He began to verbally and emotionally abuse Marie, leaving her and the baby for hours and even days with no word of his whereabouts. He controlled all of the money and often left them without food and diapers, forcing Marie to rely on neighbors and friends for help. Marie became a prisoner when he confined her to the house and told her that she was not allowed to leave. He used elaborate traps to make sure she stayed put, monitoring her calls, checking up on her constantly, and even accusing her of being with other men. After the second baby was born, Marie learned that her husband was purchasing prostitutes and was having a baby with another woman. That's when the physical abuse began. He would push her, hold her against the wall, and leave bruises on her arms. He alienated her from her family and friends and was careful to make sure there were no witnesses. She lived in constant fear and turmoil, waiting for the next attack. There were times when she didn't want to be intimate with him, but he would force himself on her, even in front of their young son, who pretended to be asleep. Eventually, Marie's brother came to visit, knowing deep down that something wasn't right. He saw the bruises on her arms and confronted her husband, who denied everything, but then became enraged. With his fist headed for Marie's face, her brother stepped in to protect her. She left with her brother, but her husband would not let her take the children. Her husband called her and threatened to kill her children if she didn't come back. Marie tried to file for divorce, but despite the abuse, the judge recommended anger management and reconciliation. After all that they had been through, Marie was in shock at the judge's request, and the judge reassured her that everything would be okay. After just 2 months, though, the abuse started again, and this time, it was worse. She survived 6 more years of severe mental, emotional, and physical abuse until he finally abandoned her and the kids for another woman. He refused to pay any bills or child support, causing Marie to lose their house, and she and the children eventually became homeless. They stayed in a day shelter during the day, where they were able to take showers and wash clothes. The shelter was just one large room, often overcrowded and noisy with people and other families. There were people drinking, doing drugs, and other things that children just shouldn't witness. They had a small locker to keep a few things in and were provided with meals, but the shelter was only available during the daytime hours. In the evening, they would be picked up by a bus and taken to a church to spend the night. It would be a different church every 30 days. She brought a duffel bag for their clothes, and they would usually sleep on air mattresses on the basement floor. Many times, they were put in one big room with others, with nothing but cardboard separating the space for each of the homeless families. Marie lived in constant fear for their safety. This went on for 7 months. They were exhausted and longed to have their own place where they could feel safe. After months of searching for assistance and housing with no results, Marie had given up. That's when she got a call that there was an opening at the dwelling place. She cried as the excitement of hope set in, and she told her son and daughter the news. It was a huge relief and blessing for all of them. When she first came to the dwelling place, she was excited but scared. She had no idea what to expect. The other women helped her learn, and she began to realize that things could be different this time. Through the program, she learned how to become a better parent and put an end to the cycle of abuse in her family. Before coming to the dwelling place, Marie had a hard time believing that there was a God. Since residing in the program, she now knows that God is real and that He loves her. She knows that she has been forgiven, and He's helping her to learn how to forgive others. She knows with certainty that He has been with her through the entire healing process. Through the Dwelling Place program, Marie has become more confident and assertive and has developed strong leadership qualities and is now able to offer help and comfort to the other women in the program too. Through the Dwelling Place, Marie's life and the lives of her children have truly been saved.